Show me the money.
Hey, it's me. Knock, knock. So, you got my money?
Think about it. You're dealing with numbers all day long. Decimal points, high frequencies, bang, bang, bang. Digits, all very acidic, above the shoulders mustard shit. Right? Kind of wig some people out. Right? You gotta feed the geese to keep the blood flowing. I keep the rhythm below the belt.
I want to stay in Arizona. I want my new contract. Show me the money! Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money!
Where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
Welcome back to Cap Strapped. I'm Max Dean, and you can find me on Twitter at PanAmFootball. Today, we are going to be talking about the Aaron Jones contract. This was requested by State of the Franchise Sports, who's been one of our bigger supporters on the channel here so far. So appreciate you, and we're going to talk about some running backs, specifically the star running back of the Green Bay Packers. Now, as always, I get all of my contract numbers from overthecap.com and spottrack.com. So, yeah, big news today were the big trades. Will be yesterday by the time you hear this, but were the big trades with the Eagles, Dolphins, and 49ers. We'll talk about that on the next episode of the Pan Am Football Draft Hub for sure. Also, I watched the Zach Wilson Pro Day. It was pretty interesting, definitely impressive, and I was interested to see that he did measure out a little smaller than listed, but not as small as I was afraid of. But yeah, it's not what we're here for today. So throw me a like and subscribe if you like the contract talk. I haven't really done any Packers stuff, so hopefully we find some Packers fans out there. As always, throw in the comments who you want me to talk about. We are going to be doing primarily player contracts on Capstrapped for the next few weeks, and then after the draft, when we really have a good idea of what teams are looking like, we'll do some more full team salary cap construction, and I'm looking forward to that. We're going to do some pretty in-depth analysis. Okay, so Aaron Jones signed a 4-year contract, listed as being, or reported as being, worth $12 million per year. And we're going to look at what that looks like in the context of the running back market, and then we're going to really look at his contract as well, and what it really means for the Packers. So, yeah, let's do it. So, $12 million per year promptly puts Aaron Jones right there under Derrick Henry, tied with Joe Mixon for the 6th most highly compensated player at the position. The running back market is not that great right now. Probably that's not going to change, honestly. The position of running back is not really a primary position in the growing direction of the NFL. I'm not throwing out any hot takes when I say that it's developed more into a passing league than ever, and the ability to successfully pass and defend the pass are the premier positions, the most valuable positions, and the physical nature of the running back position also lends itself to decline. So aside from the fact that the position itself is not as valuable, the general ability to hold up is, hold up to that beating is not what it once was, and speed tends to be more valued, and pass catching ability as well. So looking at what we have here, Christian McCaffrey is probably the best receiving running back in the league, and Alvin Kamara is probably the second best receiving running back in the league. And so is that a surprise that they hit the top two numbers there? No. However, I will tell you that the Aaron Jones contract is not really a $12 million per year contract. And we'll talk about why that is in just a minute. But it's also not the only running back contract guilty of kind of deceiving you with the annual value. The Dalvin Cook contract does that. And the Alvin Kamara contract really does that. It's the most guilty of any of these. Some of the others even might be as well. The Dalvin Cook one, it's not too much. We'll talk about those at a later time. I'm sure I'll touch on the Kamara contract just because it's a little absurd what they've done there to kind of mess with this. So in reality, Aaron Jones is probably still ranked around where he is, but the actual numbers are lower than they appear to be. And all you really need to know as to why you never want to take a running back in the first round, there is a running back with a rookie contract who is within the top 10. And that's crazy. I mean, I'm about 95% sure that there is no other position in the entire NFL that will have a player on a rookie contract in the top 10. It just shows you how, these contracts are valued, how these players are valued. So if you are thinking about taking a running back in the first round, it better be late first round, and there's really just no reason to do that. The franchise tag number is very manageable because the general values of these contracts are pretty low. So if you want to hear about any other particular running back contracts, let me know and we'll touch on them another time. But that takes us into the Aaron Jones contract. So what are we actually looking at here with this contract? It is a 4-year contract that, if you include everything, does average $12 million per year. But we don't really expect him to make it through this contract, and I'll tell you why. It's backloaded with very high cap hit in 2023 and not a crazy high cap hit in 2024, but they'd have to get through the big one in 2023 to get there. I don't see that happening. I don't see any team carrying a running back at a $19.25 million cap hit, even if the cap goes up by that point. So this contract is basically built with no guaranteed money after year 2. And it has a kind of a construction that will force the Packers' hand to make a decision. And I suspect that means he'll be released. So let's see what some of the things that have built this contract are. First of all, he has a $13 million signing bonus, which is, of course, spaced out over the 4 years as the prorated bonus. So 13 divided by 4 is 3.25 per year. So he's getting all that 13 in the first year. He's also getting the $1 million base salary, so $14 million. And then the per game roster bonus and workout bonus combined is another $250,000. So his first year earnings is $14.25. I don't think I've covered per game roster bonuses before. They're also called active roster bonuses. And what that means is they are bonuses that you only earn if you're on the active game day roster. So basically, you would take this $200,000 and you would divide it by 17. I think there's going to be 17 games this year. If not, you divide it by 16. And for every single week you're on the active game day roster, you get 1/16 or 1/17 of that bonus. It's just a little extra protection for the team in case a player is injured. If they can't play because they're injured, they don't get it for that week. If they have to miss a game for personal reasons, they don't get it for that week. If they are not put on the active roster because they are really underperforming, then they don't get it for that week. So it's a little extra protection. Running backs are probably the position where the team benefits the most from this kind of bonus, because the wear and tear on them is pretty severe, and the older they get, the more likely they are to miss time as a result of that. So that's what it is. So again, per game roster bonus, also called active roster bonus, $200,000 the first year, goes up to $400,000 for the subsequent years. Workout bonus is pretty straightforward. If he participates in certain workouts with the team in the off season, he earns his workout bonus. So again, he's earning $14.25 million in the first year, and the majority of that is in the prorated bonus, so it's split up over a few years. He only has a cap hit of $4.475 million in the first year. The Packers are cap strapped this year, and they're in a tight situation next year too. So they keep it low. So then in 2022, he has a base salary of $1.1 million, roster bonus of $3.75 million, per game roster bonus of $400,000, and workout bonus of $500,000. So that adds up to be $5.75 million. So he's only earning $5.75 million in the second year, which is a substantial drop off from what he earned in the first year. Now, why do I expect him not to be there for the third year? There's no guaranteed money. He has an $8.1 million base salary and a $7 million roster bonus as well. Not to mention nearly $1 million if you combine the per game roster bonus and workout bonus. So that's a lot of money that they stand to pay him if he's on the team, and very little, in fact zero, if he's not. The $7 million roster bonus is there as kind of it forces the team to release him by a certain point. It's March 19th in this case, so I think that's probably like the second day of the new league year, which just, it helps him be a part of the free agency frenzy. They can't keep him on the team until like August and then just cut him, and then he's just a free agent with a bunch of teams that don't need a 28-year-old running back, right? So what does that really mean for this contract? Well, if he's earning $14.25 in the first year and he's earning $5.75 in the second year, that means he's earning $20 million over 2 years. And if we don't expect him to be on the roster for year 3 because of the substantially high cap hit, this is really a 2-year, $20 million contract. In fact, they could have just made it a 2-year, $20 million contract with a couple of void years and made it look basically identical to this, but just cut off a couple of things. And in fact, this is what that would look like. So effectively, this is his contract. He has a larger contract, but just in practice, in what's the most likely outcome, this is really what it's going to look like. You could almost pretend that 2023 and 2024 are void years. So why didn't they just do this? Well, I would say primarily because of the Dallas Cowboys. And I say that because they signed the Ezekiel Elliott contract. And for these big players, the annual value is important. It's reported on ESPN. It's reported on NFL Network. It's reported in local news. It's reported on CBS, on Fox Sports, and all this stuff. So they want to have salaries that match or are close to, if not actually exceeding that of the highest paid players at the position. So, you know, instead of just doing a 2-year contract worth $20 million with a couple of void years, they did a 4-year contract, backloaded it with non-guaranteed money to make it look like $12 million per year, which puts him at tied for 6th highest paid. You know, it puts him in the same category as around Joe Mixon. And like I said, other running backs have done the same type of thing. It's not deceptive. It's not like the player doesn't know what's going on or the agent doesn't know what's going on. They're aware of this, but it matters to them to have that, to have the number look higher. So again, he would have a $4.475 million cap hit year one, a $9 million cap hit year two, and then the remaining prorated bonus money in 2023 and 2024 would accelerate and hit the cap in 2023 for a cap hit of $6.5 million, which would be dead money. So basically, this is a pretty good contract for the Packers. I mean, I probably would have waited and just seen what he got in free agency and seen if I could get him for even a little bit less. But all things considered, it's a pretty reasonable deal for one of the best running backs in the league. And if you're concerned about losing him in free agency, you really want to make sure you keep him around for that last push with Aaron Rodgers. I understand why they did it. So, they've got some work to do with their salary cap, but this is pretty okay in my opinion. And it kind of puts the market where I think, the top running backs should be. I really don't think that you should be paying these guys more than $10 million per year in like effective money like this. You can make the contract look like whatever you want. I mean, the Alvin Kamara contract, he has a $25 million cap hit in the final year of his deal. It's never going to happen. He's never going to get there. But that brings up the average to look much higher than it actually is, So if you want to do that, because the average fan doesn't know what it means, whatever, go for it. But, in practice, I don't think you really want to go above 10. And I think they did a nice job with it. So if you have any other questions about the Aaron Jones contract, let me know in the comments. If you have other players you want to request for me to do, let me know. I think we have a Carson Wentz request. We have a Danielle Hunter request. And I think that was more about, the future going forward than necessarily the contract he had. But yeah, just hit me up because I love the feedback. If you've made it this far in the video, again, I'm just going to throw out there, like and subscribe again. And also let me know, I'm thinking about doing a live stream during the first round of the NFL draft this year. So let me know if you'd watch it, because I haven't done anything like that on the channel before. We are steadily growing, but we're not huge yet. So I kind of want to see if that's something people have interest in. And I'll be doing plenty of more draft content as we lead up to the NFL draft. So thank you so much. You all have a wonderful evening. I say that at 3 a.m. And I will see you all soon.